Ground temperatures are warm enough to where it pretty much melts on contact, might total up on a few grassy areas. But as you go north of M59 up into the Thumb, and it is sticking in those places, unfortunately, we're going to get some warmer weather by the end of the week, so it will not stick around and give us that white Christmas that we all want. But tonight, if you are traveling, just know there could be a mix of rain, a little wet snow at times, but light, so it shouldn't cause any problems. But there is a winter weather advisory in effect until midnight for Clair County. Again, that's where they're getting the heavier snow. Now our attention turns to the cold weather. 32 at Metro Airport, 33 in Mount Clemens, also in Monroe, 31 in Ann Arbor, and upper 20s in Howell. It is about 13 to 15 degrees colder right now than it was at this same time yesterday. So we have definitely seen that cold air filter in. Tomorrow will be the coldest day of the week with temperatures below our average high, which is now 36. We only make it to 34. But then a warm-up begins, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Kim. Our other top story involves a massive prostitution and human trafficking investigation through 3 counties, Macomb, Oakland, and Wayne. So late this afternoon, authorities did announce search warrants were recently executed at 5 massage parlors, 2 private homes, and 2 rooms at the MGM Casino in Detroit. Investigators say women would advertise services online and were encouraged to perform sex acts for money. 3 people have been charged with running houses of prostitution and other crimes. 1 person is in custody, but the other 2 are out of state as this investigation continues. Investigators say the workers, 7 women, 1 man, were living in very precarious situations.
The majority of these workers had no means of transportation. They had no place to live and often slept in these spas. They did not earn an hourly wage and would only get paid based off the tips they earned. These workers would get rotated approximately every 45 days, sometimes sooner if they were not producing enough money for the spa.
Authorities say the investigation has been going on for about 1.5 years. Now, we're still sorting through all the information on the suspects, those locations that were throughout Metro Detroit, and other latest details. So we'll have more information when you join us for Local 4 News at 5. The sheriff's office over in St. Clair County has revealed an arrest in a murder that happened more than 40 years ago. Detectives arrested 70-year-old Douglas Lamming of Fort Gratiot last week. They say new advancements in DNA testing, also availability, led to evidence against him. He's charged now with the murder of 21-year-old Karen Umphrey, who was found dead in the state game area in Beards Hill in November of 1980. Now, right now, he is being held behind bars, and he'll be back in court on December 26th. Only on Local 4, Christine Beatty is talking about her past, her present, and future. Many of you will remember she was caught up in that political scandal that led to the downfall of former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick. Beatty served time as well. Now, she is talking exclusively to Christy McDonald about putting her life back together.
I have daughters, so being a strong woman, showing them how you can come out of even a situation of your own making and still be strong and still be okay. That was important for me. That was important.
And I think that that's what everyone can relate to. Getting to rock bottom, or the worst place possible, whether because of our own decisions or not, and finding the strength and figuring out how to live after that. How would you describe that process for you?
Humbling. You know, when you are in what I would have probably called my dream job, right? Like in terms of making a difference in the city that, you know, born and raised in. And to be on such a public stage, to have your own personal choices, you know, your terrible personal choices played out, you know, for the entire world to see is hard. You can't help but humbled with something like that.
From regret to redemption. There are 2 parts to that interview tonight. Starts at 5:45, continues on Local 4 News at 6. Plus, we'll be streaming the entire conversation on Local 4 Plus tonight at 8. So if you haven't streamed before, it's really easy. All you need to do is search WDIV on your Fire Stick, Roku, or other favorite app, and then download Local 4 Plus for free. Well, another local hospital group will impose new visitor guidelines, and that's thanks to a growing number of flu cases. This time it is the Detroit Medical Center changing the rules at all of its facilities, including the Children's Hospital of Michigan. All patients can only have up to 2 visitors at a time. Visitors 12 years old and younger will not be allowed on inpatient floors or in observation units. Older visitors who have a fever, cough, or rash are asked to avoid visiting. Last week, Corwell Beaumont tweaked its guidelines for pediatric visitation. We've got breaking news from New York, where actor Jonathan Majors has been convicted of assaulting his former girlfriend. The 34-year-old actor is known for movies like Creed 3 and is part of the Marvel Universe. The jury found Majors guilty on 2 counts, but acquitted him on 2 others. The charges stem from a fight between Majors and his ex-girlfriend last March. His attorney argued she was the aggressor after finding his texts to another woman. Majors faces up to 2 years in prison on 2 misdemeanors, but that is unlikely for a first-time offender. He'll be sentenced on February 6th. Pope Francis has confirmed a new level of acceptance for same-sex couples, even though the Catholic Church still says the sacrament of marriage is between a man and a woman. The Vatican will now allow priests to bless same-sex couples with some conditions. The blessing cannot come during a civil union ceremony or use any symbols that might make the blessing look like marriage. A new church document says people looking for God's love should not be subject to, quote, an exhaustive moral analysis to receive it. The change continues a pattern of Pope Francis has been more welcoming to gay Catholics. NBC News reporting this afternoon some new steps to jumpstart that ceasefire talks in the war between Israel and Hamas. The heads of the CIA, Mossad, and the Qatari Prime Minister are reportedly meeting in Poland. Now, meantime, the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is in Israel, telling Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to be more careful with civilians in Gaza, even while targeting Hamas. Israel is facing growing pressure outside and inside its own country for a new ceasefire after soldiers accidentally killed 3 Israeli hostages on Friday. Okay, so now we're going to highlight a really important local issue for Troy residents who might want to consider what's best for a really large parcel of wetlands, and it's within city limits. The property, really valuable. Developers are eyeing the property while others are hoping to preserve the land just the way it is, and that is where we find Paula Tutman live this afternoon. I know this spot very well, Paula. Tell us more.
Do you really? Wow. Okay, so then you also know that this is a swath of wilderness, pretty much surrounded by suburbs. So we're in the Square Lake DeQuinder area, and it's a prime example of a fight to not develop every single inch of land when it becomes available. But of course, it really is up to neighbors to really support this and decide what happens to this property. Land is gold, and there is a 70-acre pot of it up for grabs in Troy.
Throughout the property, this is it's called a microtopography, so there will be lots of vernal pools in here, so lots of salamanders, lots of toads, frogs, all sorts of other amphibians. This is a great place for songbirds and migrating birds to stop over.
It's also prime real estate for developers.
We know there is development pressure in this area. We know there's houses going up around this property. We want to make sure that we can get in there and get it secured in perpetuity.
The plot of land aptly named Turtle Woods because it is also habitat for the threatened species, the spotted turtle. It belongs to the Troy Public School District, and the district doesn't need the land for itself, but it does need to sell the land to help maintain the district.
We sold the frontage. We used every square inch we could sell, and we used that as a way to buy down the cost of our preschool. And now we're servicing 600 preschoolers that didn't have quality preschool because of our ability to do that.
It's valuable land with a fair value price tag of $3.75 million. And so Oakland County Parks and Recreation is working with the Six Rivers Land Conservancy to preserve the land as a park. But first, they have to purchase it.
It is one of the largest remaining undeveloped parcels in Oakland County and definitely in southeastern Oakland County.
We applied to the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund, applied for the grant, went through the application process. The decision was last week. We were not successful because we needed to have a little greater match.
But they have another shot of getting that grant. But they need the public's help. What do you want the public to do?
Yes, they need to be excited about this, let leadership know, because this will become a new park right here in Troy that has a huge impact on water quality in the Clinton River, is the last bastion of habitat for all of these critters that are around here, including this threatened species.
Yeah, so here's the deal. The county parks and rec And Six Rivers, they're going for it. They're going to try to get a grant and the matching funds to do this. What they would like is for the neighbors, if they agree with their plan, to kind of show that groundswell of excitement, because that also helps sway some of those decisions. And so if the neighbor and the neighborhood, the residents agree, they want you to talk to your leaders. Let them know that you're interested in this and create that excitement so that they're able to preserve this as wild lands, Karen.
It's definitely a big topic for those Troy residents and really other people too. Just seeing how counties and cities are dealing with that extra land space. Paula, we appreciate it. Thanks so much for the insight.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we got a go for it update from our visit over to St. Clair Shores last Thursday. Boy, we got such a great response from our Local 4 viewers. Now, if you recall, we did take you inside the McWarm shelter at St. Margaret Church during our In Your Neighborhood newscast at 5:30. Well, volunteers open their doors 3 mornings a week. They feed the homeless 2 hot meals with a chance to shower and get their clothes washed. The shelter relies on donations and made a plea for help. And I have to say, I'm so happy to share this. Our viewers really answered in a big way. Since Thursday, the shelter has received more than $9,000 in donations. If you still want to help, head to our website, clickondetroit.com for a link to the shelter's Venmo account. Obviously, we really appreciate all the help for that local place.